Amid national and state life, there is one problem that has potential to divide Indonesia, namely the issue of SAR. Ethnicity, religion, and race is like big differences that are a barrier for Indonesia to become a developed country. On the other hand, some forward-thinking people see that these differences make Indonesia rich in culture, something to be grateful for as a gift given by God to the Indonesian people. We will watch a video about Pak Rianto, a humanitarian fighter, which shows clearly how valuable Indonesia's diversity is that we must protect, even to the last drop of blood.
Ini adalah Rianto. Kisah heroiknya berawal di malam Natal 24 Desember tahun 2000 saat ia dan belasan personel Banser lainnya ditugaskan untuk membantu polisi menjaga keamanan di sebuah misa Natal di Gereja Ebenezer, Mojokerto, Jawa Timur. Saat misa akan berlangsung, salah seorang umat memberi kabar bahwa di dalam gereja ada bungkusan hitam yang mencurigakan. Mendengar hal ini, Rianto langsung membuka bungkusan yang ternyata isinya kabel terhubung dengan rangkaian yang memercikkan api. Rianto lalu segera membawa lari bungkusan itu menjauh dari gereja. Namun naas, bom meledak di dalam pelukan Rianto. Rianto pun kini dikenang sebagai pejuang kemanusiaan yang tidak mengenal batasan golongan ataupun agama.
Pahlawan, ya, pahlawan kemanusiaan atau patriot lah gitu yang kita sebut untuk kemanusiaan. Karena dia keberaniannya dia untuk membawa itu dengan asumsi supaya tidak ada ledakan bom itu, sehingga dia masukkan ke bak kontrol di depan itu. Jadi kalau dari kita, dia itu seorang yang saya katakan menjadi pahlawan kemanusiaan.
Rianto juga jadi panutan bagi anggota Banser Kota Mojokerto. Sosoknya tak pernah dilupakan.
Memiliki sosok tauladan yang luar biasa, yang itu lahir dari seorang Banser. Apa yang dilakukan Rianto menjadi motivasi bagi kami untuk selalu menjaga dan menghidupkan tentang bagaimana kita membangun hubungan sesama manusia, bagaimana kita menghidupkan toleransi khususnya di kehidupan antar umat beragama, dan bagaimana kita membangun persaudaraan yang sejati.
Rianto merupakan anak pertama dari 7 orang bersaudara. Di mata keluarga, Rianto merupakan sosok pendiam dan penurut. Sebagai anak tertua di masa hidupnya, Rianto membantu orang tuanya untuk membiayai hidup dan biaya pendidikan 6 orang adiknya. Kedua orang tua Rianto mengaku bangga anaknya bisa menjadi teladan bagi warga lain untuk menjaga kerukunan dan berperilaku toleransi terhadap sesama.
Yang besar sendiri, yang sudah bekerja, ya sedikit banyak yang bantu orang tua untuk memberi makan adik-adiknya itu. Kan bapaknya seorang pengemudi becak, ya seadanya, sebolehnya, cukup ya dibuat makan, beli beras ya beli beras, ndak cukup ya beli kasepe apa ya seadanya lah.
Sebagai pengingat sekaligus wujud hormat kepadanya, pemerintah Kota Mojokerto, Jawa Timur mengganti nama jalan di Kelurahan Prajurit Kulon menjadi Jalan Rianto. Jalan ini merupakan jalan utama menuju rumah orang tua Rianto. Meski peristiwa ini sudah 19 tahun lalu, sosok Rianto bagi sebagian orang tak pernah dilupakan, terutama di tengah ragam tantangan yang dihadapi Indonesia terkait kerukunan. Komunitas yang menamakan dirinya Katolik Garis Lucu menggalang dana untuk keluarga Rianto dan keempat temannya yang kala itu bertugas. Rianto telah menunjukkan diri sebagai umat beragama yang kaya nilai kemanusiaan. Sosoknya akan terus dikenang sebagai pejuang kemanusiaan.
On this occasion, Mr. Radia Rashad is the youth representative of GP Ansar, and Mr. Pram from the Catholic Youth of the Jakarta Cathedral are present with us. Good afternoon, Mr. Radia and Mr. Pram. Thank you for taking the time to join in today's discussion. I want to ask Mr. Radia first. After watching the video about Pak Rianto, it seems that GP Ansar has a tradition of securing the Christmas Eve Mass at the church. Maybe Mr. Raja can tell why and how this tradition was formed.
Well, good afternoon, Mr. Samo. I'm very glad to be here today and to have the opportunity to discuss and share some insight with all the viewers. Now, on to your question. Yes, GP Answer is always ready to help people of other religions when carrying out religious holidays, one of which is during the Christmas Eve Mass. GP Answer is never absent. Now, this tradition originally came from Gusto, the leader of NU. If you still remember the Situ Bondo Church burning incident in 1996, that incident triggered Gustur, who immediately ordered Pak Nusron and Cha Anam to bring Banser and UN to secure the churches on Christmas Eve. Since then, we have carried out this tradition regularly to this day.
That's amazing, Mr. Raja. Gustur's thoughts were truly noble and open-minded. Did GP Ansar not encounter any obstacles or challenges to implementing this idea?
Well, of course, we have encountered many challenges, Mr. Samu. There are discussions activities to protect the church. Some say it's ridiculous. Some say keeping the church will affect our faith. But one thing that always motivates us to keep doing what we do is Gustur's advice. He said that what we are doing is protecting Indonesia. The church is in the homeland of Indonesia. No one should interfere with any religious places of worship in our nation. This is what is outlined in Article 29 of the 1945 Constitution concerning the freedom to embrace religion and worship. It is good and human's duty to take care of each other as a manifestation of their faith.
Okay, Mr. Raja. Once again, I was impressed by Gustur's advice as an NU fighter. He is a national and religious figure who is able to place Indonesian pluralism in the right interpretation. If we talk about Article 29 of the 1945 Constitution regarding freedom of worship, if it is related to the initiative to protect churches by GP Ansor, it can be said that GP Ansor maintains and even wants to guarantee the right of people of religion to worship is not disturbed. Alright, Mr. Raja, let me turn to Mr. Pram. Good afternoon, Mr. Pram. Nice to meet you again. As a member of the Catholic youth, how did Mr. Pram respond to the security carried out by GP Ansor in churches on Christmas Eve?
First I want to say good afternoon to Mr. Samuel and Mr. Raja. Thanks for inviting me to this session. The last time we met was when Mr. Raja being leading the security of 2019 Cathedral Church Christmas Eve Mass. And at that time, we had the opportunity to have a discuss and have a little chat. But we all know, unfortunately, last year, due to the COVID-19 pandemic, the Christmas Eve Mass couldn't be held. But let's back to the question. You see, Mr. Samuel, frankly, every Christmas Eve or Easter Mass, which is a religious day for Catholics, we have a fear of attending the Mass at the church. It doesn't mean that we don't believe in the government, or maybe some say they are paranoid, but because many people are traumatized by previous events, and the anticipation is to strengthen the security. And as a part of OMK, who always serves in the committee, we appreciate the willingness and initiative of GP Ansar's friend to help maintain security during our worship.
Well, Mr. Pram, from Mr. Prum's answer, maybe I can conclude that GP Ansar's initiative to secure the Christmas Eve Mass is the answer to the needs of people who are worshiping for a sense of security. How did Mr. Pram respond to Pak Arianto, who died while guarding the Christmas Eve Mass in Mojokerto the year 2000, regarding the issue of pluralism in Indonesia, especially religious differences?
Okay. First, I want to talk about pluralism first. We are talking about sensitive issues in the world. That is pluralism, and coincidentally, pluralism in Indonesia looks more real because it is shaped by geographical conditions of the archipelago that make different ethnic groups and many different of traditions. Of course, we didn't expect the Mojokerto bombing, but at the same time, it opened the eyes of all nations, or maybe even the world, that amid the current issue of radicalism, there is still true patriotism and humanity still exists. Pak Arianto is like a national hero, a martyr who is willing to sacrifice his life for his brother despite having different beliefs. We know that sacrifice like this are very rare, but they certainly cannot be separated from the teaching of Nahdlatul Ulama, which is inspired from GP Ansor, forming strong determination to maintain the sovereignty of the Indonesian state. We know Pancasila and Bhinneka Tunggal Ika inspire everyday life and not just a symbol for us.
I totally agree with Mr. Prom. It is undeniable that it's very rare for people with big hearts like Pat Rianto, like our heroes who fought for independence to uphold Indonesian sovereignty. But I believe his sacrifice was not in vain. He succeeded in opening eyes of all Indonesian people that differences are beautiful and tolerance persists, which binds all Indonesian people in diversity. We will continue with one more question. Because Mr. Prom has already mentioned about the practice of Pancasila within NU, I'm interested in how within the GP Ansar organization keep the spirit of Pancasila alive, especially for young people.
I'll help answer that, Mr. Samuel. In our organization, GP Answer, we always use Pancasila as a guide in our activities. We feel that Pancasila is not just a symbol of the state ideology, but more like a magic book. Our admiration is endless on how the five principles, which are quite short and simple, can summarize and organize an entire guide to action. In solving all problems, if there are conflicts or socio-cultural tensions, we can simply return to the noble values of Pancasila to find guidance.
Well, Mr. Prom and Mr. Radia, it doesn't feel like we've been talking for more than 10 minutes. It seems that we don't have enough time, but there are actually still many things I want to ask. Thanks again for the time and inspiration. Let me give you a summary of our meaningful and in-depth discussion this afternoon. Pancasila as the basis of the state, the nation's view of life, and the personality of the Indonesian nation still greatly influences the thinking of younger generation in the life of the nation and state. Amid the diversity of the nation, Pancasila has become a unifying nation, the foundation of the state life to overcome political, social, economic, social cultural conflicts and tensions. And of course, we are very proud to recognize Pancasila as the identity of the Indonesian nation, which distinguishes the Indonesian nation from other nations around the world. Pak Rianto and his friends from GP Ansor opened the minds of the Indonesian people, the beauty of knitting the rope of tolerance in Indonesia's diversity. The predecessors of the state who uphold Indonesian sovereignty have regulated the life of the nation and state in Pancasila in the 1945 Constitution. Next is the task of the Indonesian people, especially younger generation, to focus on the nation's goal. Align and strengthen steps to achieve them, not focus on differences that can hinder the spirit of unity. Thank you and see you next time.